Hello, you join us in the very snug of Rams in the old Rochester High Street. I'm with Glenn Prangnell, and we're going to have a bit of an update about where he's at with Groovy Uncle things. So last time we met, on film at least, was in the run-up to, or it had just been released, a clip round the ear in 2017, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So 2017 you did that, and then the year after out came
Medieval Britain.
Medieval Britain, yeah.
And then we didn't do anything last year.
Yeah.
For various reasons.
Yeah.
But it kind of meant that I was able to build up to the 2020 releases because it's our 10th birthday of Groovy Uncle, making records.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, that's all right. We can have a barren year, in 2019 nothing, and then this year we'll do. I'll put out 3 albums, 2 of which are re-releases.
Yes.
But they're the first time on vinyl.
Yeah. So they are these two here.
These two chaps
so
here.
we've got Life's a Gift and One Vowel Away from the Truth.
And they're both on colour vinyl. One vowel's on blue, the other's on yellow. But it looks like I've done it intentionally. It just happens that they were the 2 albums that had never been on vinyl before.
Yeah.
And they just happens to be both with the cartoons.
Oh, okay.
But it looks like a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
It's not, it's just an accident.
Just how it happened.
Just how it happened.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be nice for the 10th. I mean, I started thinking about this 2 or 3 years ago, planning for it. I definitely want them on vinyl. They should have been on vinyl in the first place.
Right, yeah.
So I'll do that as a 10th birthday thing.
Yeah.
And then because it got nearer to that,
Yeah.
then by which time I've got another album. So actually that'd be all right.
Yeah.
It'd be a bumper year, you know, bit celebratory.
Yeah.
And release those 2 and a brand new album.
Yeah.
Later in the year.
Right. That's great. So you've been doing lots of promotion, and you've just been showing me the artwork to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
and we'll start promoting that not long after these.
Yeah. So these come out when?
These come out on the 10th of Feb.
10th of Feb.
And probably a few weeks after that I'll start shouting about the new album.
Brilliant. Okay.
So I won't leave it too long.
Yeah. So the Medieval Britain album, that was kind of a reaction to the sort of political situation which we were in then, and we still are in now.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, just that was in the air, and it's just a couple of songs on there that are a little bit. It's not that political, but it's just, you know, a few references there.
Yeah.
I mean, that album was kind of interesting anyway because it's the first one where I've had other songwriters on where it's not all been me.
Yeah.
So
Daryl Hartley and Johnny Barker.
Daryl Hartley wrote a couple on there. Johnny Barker wrote was it 1 or 2 on there? 2 on there. And Andy Morton, who's in a band called Bronco Bullfrog.
Yeah.
Whom I've never met in person. But
still not.
Still not. No, we must do that. But it was a bit of a convoluted story. But all separate to each other. They all sort of emailed me around the same time saying, "Oh, I've got a song that you might be interested in, or what do you think of this song?" or something like that.
Yeah.
And at the very same time, I'd already been thinking, "Oh, it'd be nice to do something that's a bit of a cooperative sort of album, maybe you know, just to see if it works."
Because you've done that vocally, so yeah.
I prefer, you know, I like to do. I'm quite happy to write all the songs, and it wasn't that I didn't have enough songs. I just thought it might be a bit different, and now because I like to try and make each album cohesive. So you know, it sounds like us, but there's always something different about the next one, something that we hadn't done before. So with that one, it was get some other songwriters in. And as I was thinking that, these emails I hadn't hinted to anyone, but these emails dropped in from the others, independent of each other, offering me a song. I thought, well, this is obviously what I've got to do then, isn't it?
It's meant to be.
And but I was careful. I thought I don't want to just shoehorn the songs in. You know, if they don't work, if it doesn't work as an album, then I'm not just going to say, oh yeah, we'll do that. It sounds great. You know, it's got to work.
Yeah.
And they did all the songs. I thought, yeah, and I even liked. I mean, the album title comes from Daryl's composition, not mine. You know, I just thought that's a good. I could see that as a film poster, and you know.
Yeah.
It just sounds a bit strange. Meanwhile, back in medieval Britain.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that'll be whatever else happens. That'll be the title of the album.
Yeah.
And it just sort of worked, and we just went in and.
Claim it back when it didn't leave. You really need to check the things that you read, and the problems lie where the truth is denied. But I think it's gonna turn out fine, 'cause I am yours and you are mine.
Andy Morton he was going to come down to play on his track, but he couldn't make it, so we just went in and did it anyway. But yeah, so there's 3 songwriters on that as well.
Yeah.
And again, it's quite varied in styles, and a lot of different people play on it. Graham Day plays on one track.
Yeah.
And Richard Moore, you know, from Lost Revelers,
Right. Okay.
local band violinist, really, really good. He plays on the new one actually.
Yeah.
It worked really well. I really liked that album.
Wow. Yeah.
It just made a change, and it was something different. It wasn't, you know, all my songs, so
Yeah.
it worked.
Yeah. Because looking at the front cover of this one, you've got all these. Got loads of people you've worked with over.
Yeah, that was kind of at the time.
Yeah.
I wanted
and there's more
to give,
since.
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to try and get everyone in, like as a mention.
Yeah.
Like these, I mean, yeah, there's more since then, but
Yeah.
I'm a great believer in everyone having their credit and getting, you know,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people been involved
Yeah. Yeah.
over time, and
Ben Jones, Alan Crockford,
yeah.
Bob Collins,
yeah,
Jim Riley, obviously, Brendan.
yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of them.
Lots and lots of people. Yeah. Wow. So got these two, and the album. Are we allowed to name the forthcoming album, or is that
Yeah,
still
yeah,
top
yeah.
secret?
The next album is called "The Man Who Calls the Shots."
The Man Who Calls the Shots, and another very sort of cinematic sounding title.
Well, this is definitely "Man Who Calls the Shots" is going to be intentionally is very similar in approach to "Persuaded."
Yeah. So that was the sort of soundtrack album to a
Yeah,
film
I mean,
that never was.
I always say that's a soundtrack album, and I think this new one is a bit like a soundtrack album. I mean, it's probably not really. Anyone else listening to it will probably just say, "Oh, it's just some songs." But in my head,
Yeah.
it's a film.
Have you got a plot?
No,
No.
there's never a plot. But it quite often with these things, you know, I get the main thing that I know is going to be the title track, like "The Man Who Calls the Shots." I think that's going to be the title. It sounds dynamic.
So there's a song called that on
And
there?
yeah, that's the opening track. And again, a bit convoluted story with the recording of it, because some of it was recorded quite a while ago after we recorded "Persuaded," because Miss Modus, who sang on "Persuaded," she then came down and recorded some more stuff, which sat in the vaults for a while.
Yeah.
We didn't quite know what we were going to do with it. And it's just gone on and on for a few years, and then in the end I decided, well, we'll release it as like we do with Susie, Groovy Uncle featuring Miss Modus. We'll do it as a double thing. So she's on the album, the vinyl album there's 12 tracks on it, and sings most of them actually, but the others are there's a couple of instrumentals, and there's a couple that I sing on, but we recorded them kind of recently.
Okay.
And again, I thought, is this going to work alongside the Miss Modus stuff? And I thought, yeah, it does, particularly if you dress it up as a film soundtrack. that's I'll make it work that way. It doesn't matter that it maybe doesn't actually work. No, it does. It sounds great. So it's a 12-track album, but there will be on the CD there's 4 bonus tracks, which are all Miss Moda's songs, which are
Okay.
going to be on the download with the vinyl as well. So
Right.
everyone will get all the tracks.
Yeah.
That worked out well because the 4 sort of bonus tracks, which I think they're good, but they don't quite fit on the album. But they're good as bonus tracks,
Yeah.
and they happen to be all covers. But by that I mean that they're all songs that Groovy Uncles songs that we've done before. In fact, one of them was an Offbeat song,
Okay.
but they're all sung by Miss Modus.
Right.
So those 4 are the songs that we've done before, but this
Okay.
with Miss Modus singing them.
Right.
So they're the bonus tracks. But
Yeah.
but the opening track, The Man Who Calls the Shots, is very similar in feel to Your Weight in Gold, which is on Persuade, like the James Bond
Yeah.
thing. It sounds like a Bond thing. It's intentionally, before anyone points it out, it's intentionally a rip-off. It's intentionally an homage.
I don't know.
The name of that, homage? An homage.
Homage.
To that,
Well,
because it
Shirley
worked.
kind of
Yeah, it
thing.
worked before we did Your Weight in Gold. It's
Yeah.
great fun to do something like that where you kind of
Mm.
you just go in for it. It's like sod it, or just
Yeah.
Always listen to the wrong advice. You only live once, but they told me twice. A shoulder to cry on, rely on everyone. I'm sold. I dare you to care. Who was it who said I'm worth my weight in gold?
just that, and it's good fun, and she does it really well. And it's just like a
Okay.
big Bond theme.
Okay. So who else is playing on the album? We've got the singers. Who's playing?
Annie Graves does some
Yeah.
vocals on instrumental. She does some like ethereal kind of backing vocals, which sound really great.
Yeah.
That's on a like it's almost like a sci-fi thing called Guitardis.
Guitarist.
And then there's a reprise of that because the Guitardis is Bruce plays guitar. It's an instrumental with
Bruce
Annie doing some
Prangnell,
vocal. And then at the end there's a reprise called Return to Guitardis, but which is the Lost Revelers doing their instrumental take on it, which is
Yeah.
brilliant.
Wonderful.
And one sounds like a sci-fi theme, and the other one sounds like a theme tune to a London Weekend Television Friday night detective series.
Very specific.
Yeah, well, in my head, this is all in my head, you see. People listen to this and go, what's he talking about? But this is all, this is in my own little sad little world, how these things sound. And I'm telling you, it's a soundtrack album and people listen to it.
So it's
What is he talking about? But it doesn't matter, I'm happy.
the Sweeney, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But yeah, so we'll see what people make of it, but that's what it is in my head. But and there's just some straightforward melodic pop songs, and while there's a song called Magic Happens, which is a real lounge. It's got vibes on it, Rowan Kearsley Lawson is another chap that plays on some of my stuff.
Yeah.
Good vibe, jazz vibe player, and he
Okay.
plays on that, and it just sounds like that's my martini ad. or it might be Silvercrin hairspray ad. It's one of those.
Okay.
You can't wait to hear it now, can you? But yeah, and again, just
So you soundtrack not only the film but also the adverts that
The
appear
adverts as
in
well.
the middle.
yeah. And I'm seeing I'm trying to remember now who I've got to mention who was on the album. But there's lots of people. There's the usual
Yeah.
suspects like Mole and Wolf and
Yeah.
Nick and Bruce. Richard, the Lost Revelers did it. And then there's another song that I do with the Lost Revelers called Sounds a Lot Like Me, which is a brand new song.
Yeah.
And I had that song knocking around for ages. And I only had the chorus and I couldn't get, and it was about 2 or 3 years I had sort of had it knocking around. I thought that's going to be good. I eventually finished it off, and then I thought, yeah, I like it. Right, let's go and record it. And then I was thinking, no, there's something not right.
Right.
Because it sounded like just, acoustic guitar, drums and brushes, that kind of. I thought, yeah, that's all right, but it's not right yet. It's something, and I couldn't think what it was I wanted, but I know it when I hear it. And I went in the Manor Kent one night, and the Lost Revellers were playing, and I went, that's what I want. That's what that song needs, and that was it. And then I sent it to Richard, and he went, oh yeah,
Some more serendipity.
And it's just them. It's basically their track. It's the whole band. It's their drummer and bass player.
Yeah.
And me singing it, and it's like a gypsy jazz little
brilliant
thing. I really like it. They've done a great job. That they made it. That they really captured that. I thought, that's what I want. It was kind of a bit of a kind of Harry Nilsson-ish sort of song, but it needed that. Imagine being in some little CD bar room in Paris or something, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm pleased with that.
Good. Right, so, and that's coming out later in the year, no specific date set yet?
Not a date yet. I've just set it into motion today, getting it in production.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the turnaround time is for vinyl at the moment, but yeah, I mean, it'll be a couple of months or so from there. So April, May, June, I don't know, spring or early summer, I suppose.
Yeah, okay. So there's a launch event to commemorate these two albums, plus a bit of an exhibition of other local Medway musicians, isn't there? Yeah,
that's an art exhibition by Jonathan Ash, who's done a lot of work for me on this album, and the new one actually. And he's got an exhibition of his work that runs from the 2nd of March to the 31st of March. I think the launch is on the 7th, between 1 and 3. And he's called it Grooviest of Uncles 2020 Hindsight exhibition. But it's not just about us, it's about lots of other, it features a lot of other Medway subjects he's painted.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just to tie in with the release of our stuff this year, our 10 years.
Yeah.
So, so go to that in March. Yeah, so, yeah, it's all happening.
Yeah. Busy time.
Yeah.
And no doubt there's songs being written for possibly another album.
I've got 10 songs for the next album.
Yeah.
I need another couple.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a Susie album again.
Yeah.
I just need a couple more.
Well, you'll get them done tonight, won't you?
Yeah, you never know. I'll have a couple more. I'll have a couple more drinks. It might happen. But yeah, almost there with working out what songs we're going to do. So it's nice, to know that that's underway. I haven't got to start afresh. They're sort of getting there with that. But we should be back in the studio sometime this year.
Okay.
For the Manacles, the shots of the album number 8, and then we'll start working on album number 9.
Yeah. Right. Busy time.
Busy time. It's busy, but I like it. I like it when there's lots of ideas. There's always that nerve-wracking moment when you've finished something and then you think, oh no, I've got to write some more songs. Well, I haven't got to, but
Yeah.
you put pressure on yourself, and then somehow it sort of happens,
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything you've seen lately? Any gigs you've been to and you thought you've quite liked the look of that?
I've really got into the Lost Revellers stuff.
Lost Revellers.
Because since I got to know them and I'm listening to stuff, really, really good.
So, was it the first time you saw them was at that Manor Kent gig, or had you met them before?
No, I think Richard had already played some strings on the Medieval Britain album.
Oh, okay.
But I hadn't seen the band.
Yeah.
I just knew Richard.
Okay.
And then I thought I must go along and see him, and it just happened at the time when I was thinking, what do I need for this song? And so that the first time I seen them, but they're really good.
Yeah.
Really good. But there are loads of good bands. There are loads of bands I like. You know, there's lots of good bands around.
Yeah. Thanks very much for the catch up. I'll meet up with you in a couple of years' time for the
Couple of
15th
weeks.
album or
A
whatever.
couple of
it is.
weeks' time. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, pleasure meeting you again.
Yeah, and you. Cheers. We'll have another one. Cheers.
See you again soon. Bye.